In this video, we are going to understand the working of ID Selector of CSS. So this is the web page that we are going to work upon. And in order to view the page source, right click anywhere on the document and click on this view page source. Once we do that, the code written for that particular page will be visible to us. Now here what you can see is in the style tag, the CSS element that we have added is hashtag para1. So this is going to be the ID. And for this particular ID, we have to apply this formatting that the alignment should be centered and the color should be red. So if we look at the body tag, we are using two paragraphs. This is the first one and this is the second one. What you can notice is the first one is having ID, para1, and it is having the message hello world. However, the second paragraph is not having any ID. So if you look at the output, what you can see is all the formatting which we have tried to put on to this particular text using CSS ID Selector, that is applicable only on hello world, which is having the ID para1. And in the style tag, we have mentioned that for the ID para1, this formatting should be applied. However, because this paragraph is not having any ID, so this ID selector of CSS is not applicable to this content, and so you can see that it is unaffected. Let us look at the key points for ID selector that we have done in practical 4. So the first one is that the ID selector uses the ID attribute of an HTML element to select a specific element. Further, the ID of an element is unique with all the pages that are there. So the ID selector is used to select one unique element. Next is to select an element with a specific ID. We use the hash character followed by the ID of that particular element. And the last, that the ID name cannot start with a number.